What up, everybody? Welcome back to Jayfabe Wrestling. We are still booking all the King of the Ring, so now we're at the infamous King of the Ring 1995. This was considered probably one of the worst pay-per-views of all time. There was a lot of ECW chants going on as it was in Philadelphia. And the company at the time was just really hitting its lowest point here. As we all know, Mabel became King of the Ring. This led to Mabel versus Diesel. And Diesel, he wasn't really cutting it as the top face, especially for this long. So, and there's just so much talent here that is misused. I'll get into it. But this is definitely a show that definitely needs a rebooking. And let's just get into the card here. So the first match is actually Savio Vega defeating Yokozuna in the King of the Ring quarterfinals match. And then we have the Roadie defeating Bob Holly in another quarterfinal match. We have Shawn Michaels versus Kama, but this ends in a no limit or time limit draw. Mabel defeats The Undertaker in the final quarterfinal match. And then Savio Vega defeats the Roadie. And then we have Bret Hart defeating Jerry Lawler in a Kiss My Foot match. And then we have Mabel defeating Savio Vega in the King of the Ring final match. And in the main event, we have Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow defeating Tatanka and Sycho. So as you can see, there's a lot of weird placements here. Misuse of, I think, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker. Also, Razor Ramon is not on the show here. WWF Championship is not being defended. It's a weird tag team match to main event. So there's definitely a lot here that can be fixed. So let's get into the card right now. So the first quarterfinal match, I have British Bulldog versus Yokozuna. So this would be a good match here. We have the Powerhouse versus the Giant Wrestler here. So I think, again, I feel like the star power in the tournament definitely needed some help here. So we're adding two legitimate contenders here. And I think it'd be a solid match. I don't even think they ever fought on pay-per-view. So that's the first as well. And I would actually give the win to British Bulldog. Quarterfinal match here, we have Lex Luger versus Owen Hart. So as you can see, we have the tag teams going at it. Owen and Yoko, and then Lex Luger and British Bulldog, the allied powers. So it's a little fun storyline here. We can even have them bet on Lex Luger and British Bulldog. They can make a bet and say I'm going to advance. And so I think it'll be a fun. And Owen Hart can talk smack to Lex Luger and say, you couldn't even beat Bret Hart last year and I'm the greatest Hart. So we have some little fun tension going into this feud here. And I would actually have Lex Luger win. All right, the next quarterfinal match, we have Razor Ramon versus Jeff Jarrett. So simple build here as well. Razor Ramon, he's saying he's cool and he says country music sucks, especially the ones Jeff Jarrett's been playing. So you can have Jeff Jarrett and the Roadie try to ambush Razor Ramon before the match, and Savio Vega can come out and be in his corner here to even the odds, and Razor Ramon gets the clean victory. Final quarterfinal match here, we have Bam Bam Bigelow versus Tatanka. So Bam Bam Bigelow was in the $1 Million Corporation, but because he lost to Lawrence Taylor, he got kicked out. So Ted DiBiase is he's motivating Tatanka. He says we can't let Bam Bam Bigelow advance here, and I think this would be a really good match here. And I would actually have Tatanka get the win with help from Ted DiBiase. So now on to the semi-final matches. We have Lex Luger versus British Bulldog. So partner versus partner here. So definitely been building some tension as well. And no heel turn here. Great match. And I would actually have Lex Luger get the clean win here over the British Bulldog. And now the final semi-final match, we got Razor Ramon versus Tatanka. And before the match, we can even have Ted DiBiase go up to Razor Ramon and offer him some money and says, if you forfeit the match, we got a lot of money for you. You can buy out the gold, you can buy out the nice cars, you can be that cool bad guy. And Razor Ramon thinks about it and he says, no, and then he throws a toothpick in Ted DiBiase's face. And yeah, they have the match here. We can have some interference. Savio Vega can also come out again to even the odds, and Razor Ramon gets the win, and he's going to the finals. Okay, before we get to the finals here, we have a couple of big matches. We got Shawn Michaels versus Sycho Sid. So yeah, Sycho Sid was the bodyguard for Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 11. Obviously, Shawn couldn't get the job done. Sycho Sid would eventually turn on Shawn Michaels and join Ted DiBiase. And the build here is very simple. Shawn, he thought Sid was his friend, but he trusted Sid. And Sid could say, why would he work for Shawn Michaels when he could work for Ted DiBiase? And he says, I'd rather get paid all this money than be some background player to this egotistical Shawn Michaels. So yeah, definitely can get personal here. We can even have the $1 Million Corporation attack Shawn Michaels a couple of times, and even Diesel would have to make the save there because he feels bad for his former friend. And yeah, I think this would be a great time to have Shawn Michaels versus Sycho Sid. Obviously, we know their chemistry. 2 years later, they have great chemistry here, and I think it makes sense just to blow off the partnership, and they should actually have a match here. So yeah, I would actually have Shawn Michaels get the clean victory here, and he can move on to bigger and better things. All right, next up we got The Undertaker versus Jerry Lawler. So yeah, we can just have a simple build here where Jerry Lawler's interviewing The Undertaker, and he just gets under The Undertaker's skin, and then The Undertaker can actually chokeslam him, and then the next week Jerry Lawler can just complain that, there's no place for The Undertaker in the WWF, and that, he's royalty, he should be respected like one, and he starts making fun of Paul Bearer. And yeah, you can just have vignettes of The Undertaker talking about how, royalty doesn't mean nothing in the darkness, and he can just kind of spook Jerry Lawler a couple of times while he's announcing. So yeah, I think this would be a good match here. Jerry Lawler is a great heel at the time, great antagonist, and it would be really cool to see Undertaker, fight Jerry Lawler, a legend, and yeah, I think this helps build The Undertaker better than what they did on this show. So yeah, Undertaker gets a clean win here over Jerry the King Lawler. Right, now we have the King of the Ring finals. We got Razor Ramon versus Lex Luger. And yeah, I think this is another solid matchup here. Look at the great star power. And the story here is, can Razor Ramon get it done? Because last year he lost. So that is the big story here. And yeah, I think it'd be, again, good match here. Face versus face. And I would actually have the British Bulldog turn on Lex Luger because he's pissed that he lost in the semifinals, so that can build Lex Luger British Bulldog feud, and it allows Razor Ramon to get the victory here, keeps Lex Luger still looking strong, and this builds towards a Razor Ramon Diesel feud, which would be very interesting because I believe that Diesel, his title run went too long, and I think Razor Ramon definitely deserved a run somewhere in between here. So yeah, this can set up Razor versus Diesel. We can even have Razor turn heel if we need it. But yeah, this sets up some fun, interesting things. And yeah, speaking of Diesel, we have the main event of the evening. We have Diesel defending against Bret the Hitman Hart. Yeah, so obviously Diesel and Bret, they have great chemistry. They fought in 1994 last year. Obviously, I had a different match in 1994, but yeah, they definitely have great chemistry here. We would even see it later on this year, Survivor Series 1995. And it's just simple. Bret Hart wants his title back. He got screwed by Bob Backlund, and Diesel won it from him. And yeah, so he just wants his title match. And again, these guys have great chemistry. I think it would be a phenomenal match. And I am kind of torn here because I do think Bret should have won earlier. But I also think that, a Diesel Razor Ramon feud in the summer would definitely help and hopefully establish Razor Ramon. So I'd actually have Razor Ramon fight Diesel at SummerSlam. So I would have to have Diesel retain here. Yeah, maybe Diesel can start to get into the heel tendencies. Maybe Bret Hart can have his foot on the rope, and then Diesel kind of, after the 3 count, he just takes his foot off, so it looks like it didn't happen. So yeah, we're slowly building the Diesel heel turn here. I mean, but he's still face, and obviously Bret will definitely get a title shot later on in the year, just because of what happened here. But yeah, again, these guys should have a great match here, and it would be a great main event. Yeah, guys, so that's my card. Let me know what you guys think about it. And yeah, I definitely think my card has an improvement. First of all, look at the tournament I have compared to 1995. And we kind of get rid of, like, some of the lower jobber kind of guys here. There's no Jeff Jarrett. No, there's no Bob Holly. We got rid of IRS. No Mabel in the match here, in the King of Ring matches here. And even Savio Vega, he was a nice undercard act, but if you compare it to the talent I have here, all 8 are kind of main eventers to upper mid cards. So I definitely think I improved the tournament here. And then also I got rid of, rather than wasting the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in first round quarterfinal matches, I have legitimate feuds here. Shawn and Sycho Sid, they can kind of blow off their feud here. And then we have Undertaker versus Jerry Lawler. I don't think we got this match on pay-per-view. And yeah, I know we had like Team Lawler versus Team Undertaker maybe at Survivor Series. So, this is a great time. King of the Ring, you gotta have Jerry Lawler be on the show here. And then obviously we have the title match here instead of this tag team match. We have Diesel versus Bret Hart, and we know the great things they have done in 1995. So yeah, and then I have a lot of good storylines here. Obviously, we have Yoko and Owen Hart in the tournament, along with the Allied Powers, and then in the semifinals we have Luger and British Bulldog going at it, and obviously I have British Bulldog turned heel on Lex Luger in the finals, so definitely a lot of storylines to play up. And then even Razor and Jeff Jarrett, they have a lot of history as well. We could even add Savio Vega and the Roadie into the mix there. And then Bam Bam versus Tatanka makes a lot of sense too, since Bam Bam used to work for the $1 Million Corporation. Tatanka's kind of like the number 1 guy there now, so it makes sense to also blow that off there. So yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me run down the card for you guys right now. So we have quarterfinal King of the Ring matches. We got British Bulldog versus Yokozuna, Lex Luger versus Owen Hart, the bad guy Razor Ramon versus Jeff Jarrett, and Bam Bam Bigelow versus Tatanka. Now we got the semi-final matches. We have Lex Luger versus the British Bulldog, and Razor Ramon versus Tatanka. Then we have Shawn Michaels versus Sycho Sid, The Undertaker versus Jerry the King Lawler, and in the King of the Ring finals, we got Razor Ramon versus Lex Luger, and in the main event of the evening, we had the WWF Championship, Diesel defending against Bret the Hitman Hart. So yeah, guys, that's my card. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.